When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. Septum Sin versus the world. Septum Sin versus the world. Septum Sin versus the world. Septum Sin versus the world.
I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings.
Hey.
You're watching Septum Sin versus the World. I'm Septum Sin. This is Kotobuki Jake.
Hey.
And I want you to sit back, relax. We're not as relaxed this time around because we're running out of time and we need to move and we need to get everything out. I need to edit and we need to run.
Yes.
But for you, sit back, relax, turn us off the air, and just sit back and enjoy.
Turn us off the air?
Well, okay, turn the video off. Because this is the Vlogcast.
Yes.
This is where we talk about what we've been up to for the week, and of course the things that we find interesting to talk about. So this time, let's see what we've been watching and doing for the last week.
Okay.
So, let's see here. Well, what have you been watching? I haven't gotten mine stuff yet.
Okay, so we're starting as before with the finished and the ongoing?
I'll start with the ongoing, and then we'll move.
Okay.
Then we'll go back and forth for the finished.
Okay. So, as far as the ongoing stuff for the week, there were several shows that I saw episodes here and there. I have been continuing with CSI Season 2, got a little more friends in. I was continuing with Ground Control to Psycho Electric Girl. Unfortunately, due to circumstances and the fact that NIS's sets are not fully player compatible with every player, when a player starts acting stupid like our player does, I'm going to have to wait until I get my other player out of storage before I can finish that series. Very annoying.
You really need to get to your storage place.
Well, I have a reason why it's beyond my control, unfortunately. But I'll, the others, my brother, like I said, has been crashing with us. And this week, I finally got introduced to the Lethal Weapon series, which is
You've
pretty
never
good.
You've never watched the Lethal? Oh, you
Nope.
mean the TV series?
The series, the show.
Okay, I was gonna say you
Yeah.
haven't watched the movie.
No, the show is quite good. It's interesting. It's a little different. And, of course, we've been watching some Futurama. I think probably Key and Peele, that kind of stuff. So that's pretty much the ongoing. So I guess if you've got any ongoing, we can...
One. Little Witch Academia.
Ah.
Which is weird. I go through these phases, and I'm going to have to be cutting out Crunchyroll sometime soon, so I probably will be moving some things. But I've been really hyper watching this. It's just really entertaining. It's like Worst Witch in Harry Potter, and it's just in general a fun series. I recommend it to anyone who likes those types of shows.
Sounds good.
I need to get into Worst Witch again because that's got season 2 up, but haven't had the time.
Okay.
So let's go to watched.
Okay.
Gamed, read, finished.
Okay.
Well, I haven't got a lot on this. I finished Upstairs, Downstairs finally. The last of the 5 series is very uneven. The 4th series was spectacular. The 5th series was, as I said, uneven. The time skips were odd. It was hard to keep up with where they were. And I feel like they just decided to kill off one character just because. It was very dramatic, and the ending was very bittersweet. But as a series overall, as I have now completed it, it is a good series. It is one I would recommend. It has its high points, it has its low points, but if you like Downton, you need to watch this. In general, it is a fun
there it
series.
is.
Yeah,
I
right
was trying
there.
to figure out where it was.
It's
Okay.
all 5 of them right here. It's
Right.
I mean, it's right here, all of it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole.
I do need to see that. I've seen a few episodes, but that's it.
So we'll just go back and forth
Okay.
as far as that. So
Well, as far as completed series, I also have one, basically. I did finish Amagi Brilliant Park, and of course watch the OVA that goes with it. It's a very good series. It's very colorful, it's very fun, it's very interesting. The characters are an interesting blend. Some of them are quite likable. The main character's narcissism is blunted a little as the series goes on, although they do draw back to it every now and then. His main backup, his secretary, Isuzu, is a really cool character. I like her, and Moff is a very fun character. Fulmoff, what? Fulmoff. I don't. Yeah, whatever. But I want to say Fumafu, but he looks like that Fumafu.
Okay, well.
Yeah, but a lot of these characters, basically, the gist of it is you have a magical kingdom that is on the brink of collapse, potentially Maple Land, and their princess in particular. I'm not going to get into the details because I don't want to spoil it, but for her sake, they come to this realm, the Earth, and start an amusement park. And after several years, they're really not a successful amusement park. And they're this close to being shut down. And so I mentioned it, I think, in our last vlog. The main character is told at gunpoint to go on a date with a girl to this park, where he comes to find out he's basically press ganged into service as the acting manager. And he does a really good job turning things around. The big issue that I want to mention, this is not really a spoiler, but something to be prepared for. The show is 13 episodes plus an OVA. They complete the story in the 12th episode. 13th episode feels very much like an OVA bonus episode.
Yeah.
It does not feel like a final episode, so don't be watching expecting any great progression of the story past the 12th episode. But it is a really fun series. I love both themes. I'm really annoyed that they didn't have a soundtrack with this one. It's a good show. It's worth checking out. And I'm trying to do videos for my Sentai special sets. I should have one coming up this week, but this one may be a couple weeks out, so just be aware that it's on the horizon.
it'll get there.
Yes.
I forgot one on doing because it's under a separate thing for gaming, but I started a game just in between my Silent Hill playing as I started Silent Hill 2. But I have started Donut County, which is a fun game. It's about a game. It's a game where you basically take you navigate a hole, and you've got and the hole gets bigger with everything you get down the hole. So eventually, you've got to clear the map, and it's run by a raccoon. And this raccoon wants to level up so he can get a gyrocopter. So he goes about destroying the entire town in order to get a gyrocopter for himself. It is literally not just enjoyable, but very relaxing.
Does it make you hungry for donuts?
No, not really. But I have actually, and I did complete Silent Hill 1. But I'll talk about that at the end.
Yes.
All right. Do you have anything else?
Well,
I'm done with mine.
Really?
I finished, yeah.
Okay, well, I watched a lot this week. You tune into our Inside Movies Galore to hear my thoughts on Return of the Living Dead 3. It was okay, but there were some parts
what you
I
had
had
the
issues
hardest
with.
part with is what several of them loved the most about it.
I know. I'm sorry, I don't like watching mutilation. I just...
Well, I had to agree with that. I actually thought the same thing. It was one of my least favorite parts was a lot of people's favorite.
And I started a new series. I started an anime that's been sitting on my shelf for some time, and I finally started And Yet the Town Moves. And it's very interesting so far, but very strange. Very strange. You saw that one, right?
I haven't. It's still sitting
Oh,
there on my...
I thought you'd seen it.
Oh, it's still
Okay.
on my shelf.
Oh, you might enjoy it.
It's got a nice
weird.
theme.
Yeah, well, the themes are great. Both of the themes. The opening one is like real kind of old school jazzy kind of, and the closing theme is all the maids, quote unquote, doing this real fun song. It's good times. But it's a weird show. The animation style is very different, very distinctive, very, very distinctive. It's kind of interesting. The main character's an idiot, though. Oh my gosh, he's an idiot.
Is that how it is on all of them?
There's a lot of them. And of course, I've been reading more of Zadie Smith's White Teeth, which is a very good book. I just haven't had a lot of time for reading this week, so that's why I haven't finished it yet. But I've definitely enjoyed that. One of the reasons I haven't had time for finishing is I've watched a lot of movies this week. And they were mostly quite recent films, and some of them were really good. I saw a release from last year, a Richard Linklater film called Last Flag Flying, which stars Steve Carell as a former Vietnam vet, vet, who got unfortunately discharged after some events, and he took the fall and went into 2 years in the brig, as they said, you know. And years later, he is living in, working at a military surplus store. He shows up one night at a bar run by a buddy of his from Vietnam, who's played by Bryan Cranston. And Cranston, the Carell's character is very quiet, very polite, not very assertive. Cranston's the opposite. He's loud, he's brash, he's cynical, he doesn't hold back, and he's a pretty crappy bartender too. I mean, you know, because of the way he goes with Carell and leaves his keys with the guy sitting at the bar, but Carell is like, please come with me. I've got some. You're gonna want to see this, and they go to this church, which of course, you know, Cranston's like, ugh. But they go in and they see another one of their Vietnam buddies at the pulpit, and he's played by Lawrence Fishburne. And Cranston's sitting there with this huge smile on his face, just like, he gets up and applauds. He's like, he can't believe it. And they all go to the preacher's house for dinner, and while they're having this conversation, quietly Carell says that my son died a couple days ago in Iraq, and they're burying him in Arlington, and I want you guys to go with me. And so basically it starts sort of a road trip. Complications ensue.
That's all road trips.
Yes. And eventually they decide they're not going to bury him in Arlington. They're going home to New Hampshire. So it's a really good movie. And Linklater is one of the most random directors out there. You never know where he's coming from next. And the performances were great. I think the movie just flew under the radar. And the other three I saw were all from this year. I finally got a hold of a copy from the library of Isle of Dogs. New Wes Anderson film. Finally got to see Isle of Dogs.
I need to see it now.
It's interesting. It's a Wes Anderson film, no doubt about it. Phenomenal cast.
Was it as good as the Fantastic Mr. Fox?
I like Mr. Fox better, but this one was good. It was really good. And then I made it to theaters to basically the gist of it's in near future Japan, where this family, this political dynasty, basically declares war on dogs and banishes them to this island, and the adopted son of this politician goes to rescue his dog, and Cranston's in that film too. Actually, he plays the character Chief, but there's so many people in the movie. I couldn't even list them all. There's so many. And then I went to the movies to see a very interesting pairing of movies. I went to see The Meg and Crazy Rich Asians. And The Meg is a shark film, of course, you know. And I think it came out on the tail end of Shark Week, didn't it?
A realistic shark film?
Yeah. I mean, they discover a living megalodon, so you know how realistic, I guess. But it also had a pretty impressive cast. I had no idea Masaoka was in it. I thought that was awesome, and I could not recognize Cliff Curtis. And I finally saw him in the credits, and I was like, "Holy crap! How did I not?" You know. But of course, you've also got Jason Statham, Rainn Wilson, Li Bingbing, one of the most gorgeous women alive, Winston Chow. I mean, it's a good cast. And then Crazy Rich Asians also is a good cast, and lots of gorgeous women in that one. But also, I still say they need to have an Oscar for Best Use of Music in Film. There's too much for me to get into right now, but I found some very interesting articles. The director of the film really did do some interesting stuff with the soundtrack. He got some people off of YouTube, basically tried to promote some people who are really just starting out, which is really awesome. They also actively covered popular American films in Chinese to kind of give it sort of that multicultural feel. And this was one last cool thing that I had no idea about until like a day after the movie. I was doing some, you know, I probably the star of the film is Constance Wu. I like her. She's very talented, very cute, and I think I've seen her in stuff. I've not seen Off the Boat, but I think I've seen something that she's in. But I had no idea of this. I probably know people that know her.
Wow.
Because she's my age almost, and she was born and raised in Richmond. I had no idea of this, and I was like, "That's awesome." I don't know. It's just awesome. I love it when people from my hometown are big. You know, make it big. You know what I mean? That's awesome. So that was kind of an exciting viewing, and it was good timing for a thing on covers. I watched the video on covers, by the way, but with all these covers on this one, and there's also a Thai cover of the song Mickey on the Meg, which is not a great song, but it's a fun to hear a different take on it. That's mostly what I got to talk about, I guess. You said you had any more, or you?
Oh, that's about it.
Okay.
Now we go on to news. So
Yes.
We'll go one at a time. You said you didn't have as much as I did.
I didn't find much this week. Most of the news was more really entertainment.
I will launch into it then. Aretha Franklin, since we were talking about her with our top 15, that's coming out once I get it edited.
Yes.
And she left no will.
That's crazy.
It's a sad thing. There's going to be a lot of fighting.
There was enough of it, because that was the same deal with Prince, right?
Prince had a couple of things, but not enough instruction. People need to live. You never know when you're gonna bump off, I guess is the word. So be careful, especially when you got family that would probably fight.
Yeah, we fortunately that was an issue when my father passed. He didn't leave a will. And that got real confusing and frustrating. But he was nothing like... I mean, he didn't have... Franklin and Prince, there's so many assets there to deal with. Even if everyone gets along, like, just no fights
at all. It's just a ton to deal with.
So much to deal with, yeah. Now, on a good note, some news related to her... She had one hell of a send-off, from what I understand. It was, it's like 6-hour funeral?
Oh, yeah.
It was like a motorcade of pink Cadillacs, all kind of stuff. I mean...
There are a lot of negative news stories that came out of it.
Of course there are.
But, about groping and, well...
Yeah.
And a lot of memes about Bill Clinton enjoying some of the performances.
I'm sorry, but yeah, I saw that. That was like, was it like him and Al Sharpton, wasn't it? Oh man. I'm sorry. I can't fully say it. Yeah, but I did think it was kind of interesting that he did a eulogy there while Obama and Bush were at McCain's funeral.
Yeah.
Which I was kind of like, I wonder if that was planned that way or if it fell out that way, or it's just kind of an interesting split. And it was also interesting that they held her funeral that long that they were like right on top of each other. But yeah. So
Well, let's see here. So, I guess, do you have another one?
well, my stuff, pretty much everything I had this week, unfortunately, talking about negative news and that kind of thing, almost everything I found this week had something to do with controversies stemming from Me Too and that sort of thing. If you watch our movie release one, you've heard about the controversy with City of Lies. There was an announcement this week that Woody Allen was taking a break from filmmaking for the first time in decades.
Wow, that's like
He has worked like clockwork for years, movie, and he had so much trouble with his most recent film, and Amazon.
what was that? Wonder Wheel?
No, he had one that was supposed to follow it, but I don't. And I think he had a 3-picture deal with Amazon.
Yeah.
And Wonder Wheel was the first of the 3, but unfortunately, things are just. He is having a rough go of it right now.
It's a lot
And
of
he
that's
finally
what,
came out and said, yeah, I'm going to take a break.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, people
That's-
prejudging before anything is
Yeah.
actually proven. That's a sad thing. That is the world
Yeah.
of that we live in, for better or for worse.
Yeah. And Woody Allen may not be innocent. It may not be that
Yeah.
he's being railroaded. But again, when you look at everything that's going on, the people where there's intense documentation that they were
Oh, yeah.
systematic, it's not really quite that case with him. So it's kind of.
Well, that's the thing is, it's one thing if it's proven like one of these, and I'll just
Yeah.
bring this story up since it's also Me Too.
Yeah.
But it's another thing because you got somebody who showed up to somebody's like some public event wearing a Weinstein is innocent. It was a director. It was a famous director that did.
I
this.
must have missed that.
It
What
was an
happened?
Italian director that showed up to an event with a Weinstein is innocent shirt. Now that, by the way, I don't believe because there's so much proof against him
Yeah.
that's there. It's like that, Bill Cosby. These people have so much proof stacked against them.
Yeah.
It's undeniable. Yes. What was it? His name.
His name, yes.
But for Woody Allen, he's not had anything of this. It's just a he said, she said at this point.
Now, it's a nasty he said, she
Yes,
said.
it is a nasty he said, she said, but there's
Right.
so many layers to this
Yeah.
that unless something definitive comes out,
Uh-huh.
we really shouldn't be there. I mean, we don't want to make it to the point of like somebody across the country could say, I think that one probably was thinking bad thoughts about me. And then have that person fired from their job.
Yeah.
And that's an extreme example, but it's starting to get to that point
Yeah.
where just one word could end a person's career, even if it's
Yeah.
temporary. Now, somebody that is not innocent is Louis C.K.
Yes.
He did some nasty stuff, and he admitted to doing the nasty stuff. And he's back on stage. Which brings back the whole thing is, should forgiveness be allowed, and when?
Mm-hmm.
To me, I think it's a little too soon.
A little early. Now, granted, it was just a short set. It was unannounced, so basically he wasn't charging anything or anything like that. And apparently he was greeted warmly by most of the people in the audience.
Yeah.
But not everyone. A couple people did complain.
There were some people complain, some walked out.
Yeah,
It's just, to me, it's a little bit too soon.
it is.
It's just like Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
Kevin Spacey needs to take a break. He needs to take a break. He needs to think about his things and come up with a proper apology.
Right.
Because forgiveness requires, well, being legitimately understanding that you caused pain to others
Yeah.
and that you are willing to seek forgiveness, that you legitimately feel bad about what you did.
One thing I'll grant CK is that he did seem to have a sincere apology.
Yeah.
However, he also does seem to be not fully conscious
No.
of the pain he caused. And coming back to stage this soon underscores that.
Yeah.
But he wasn't the only one I had, and I don't know if you'd heard this as well, but a lot of the reports had lumped him together with a couple other people who've resurfaced in the last couple weeks. Apparently, Matt Lauer made some comments about his return on TV, and this was another one where there is a lot of documentation.
Matt Lauer had a lot of it, and his apology was not sincere.
No, he was one of the ones who seemed like he needs some time off.
Yeah, don't get me confused when I say that some people deserve a little bit more. Innocent till proven guilty.
Well, the other one,
versus people who are guilty.
The other one, a lot of these reports were dragging Aziz Ansari into the comments and saying he's been active lately, and that was definitely a he said she said that a lot of people were.
That was not as. That's just over the top with that one.
But he is still being treated with the same brush that these other people are. And I did find it interesting that the three of them were lumped together in a lot of these articles. And I'm like, okay, I was weirded out by CK's revelations and deeply disappointed. Lauer disturbed me, what I heard about him.
Oh, God.
And sorry, I've mostly heard what the hell is... Now, I don't mean to trivialize comments that people have made that may be genuine, because it may be that he did misbehave, but everything I've heard was that it was sort of like a date gone wrong.
Yeah. And
that's a lot different from systematic predation or systematic... one of the comments that I heard about CK's thing, I kind of agree with a lot of these people. A fellow comedian came out and said, we're talking about a work safety issue here. And that's like, and that's one of the reasons why I don't hit as hard on Woody Allen, is that all the accounts are that he was a professional director.
He's never really done these things. The only thing that he has been accused of is the one thing many years ago. And that has been disputed. There are conflicting reports. Even by his own children, there are conflicting reports. And this is the thing. If it was all like or if there were multiple women who were talking about this, but none of them. I can't find many reports. There should be more reports like this. Yeah.
But I like that idea of looking at it. Well, I mean, not that I think you should be exonerated for what you do on your own time. But with these entertainers, the idea that if what you did caused a negative or toxic work environment, you got to take the time to work on that.
Yes.
Lauer was accused of that. CK was accused of that. Spacey and Weinstein very much were accused of that. If you do stuff that causes mental harm, stress, anything for people just because they have to be in the same room with you on the workplace, you should not be able to return to that workplace.
Oh, yeah.
That's... Yeah. And that doesn't just go for entertainers either. Politicians. Yes.
Some politicians get a pass.
Anyway...
So, one thing in video game news, and this has me excited. Grandia 1 and 2 are getting HD remakes and releases. We don't know much about it, we just know that it's coming. And that has me excited. Grandia was one of my favorite games. I never got to play Grandia 2. I do have it sitting back there on the shelf. And Grandia was great. To me, the first half especially, it went into just it disappointed me in the second half because it was... It went into just typical RPG territory. But the first half was just these characters wanting to go on an adventure. It was refreshing. It was entertaining. The main character was like, ooh, let's explore this. Let's see this. And you shared in that excitement. So it was, in general, a fun experience.
Cool.
I can't wait to see it again. Anything else on... Okay.
I didn't really have anything else.
Well, I got a list here, so I'll just run some stuff by, and some stuff you'll probably have more interest in than the Grandia. Okay, you remember that episode of The Simpsons where you had Michael Jackson the psychiatric inmate who was him, and then he did that song, the Happy Birthday Lisa song.
Can't say I remember that.
Well, people had said for years that the person went uncredited.
Yeah.
Who did the voice? People had said for years, like, is that Michael Jackson doing the voice? It sounds like Michael Jackson. And the creator's like, no, I can't tell you who it is. Finally, after all these years, it comes out that yes, Michael Jackson did play the role and did do the song, the Happy Birthday Lisa song. He did sing that one. It's it really was kind of cool. I mean, after all these years, even though I was pretty certain it was Michael Jackson that was there, it's still cool to have that revealed. Schindler's List is returning to theaters on its 25th anniversary. Even now today, it's even more important to think about these types of films. And Schindler's List is a classic. It deserves to be seen.
Yes, it is an excellent film.
Ethan Hawke got people a little bit PO'd.
Yeah?
He made the comment that comic book movies are not art. They are considered lower forms of entertainment in his eyes, which is why they don't deserve these Academy Awards.
I'm not surprised that comes from Ethan Hawke, actually.
Just, it's kind of snobbish in my opinion.
Very snobbish.
And that reflects, to me, I grasped onto that because that reflects how the Academy sees it.
Yes.
They don't see The Dark Knight as art. They see The Dark Knight as comic books.
Yeah.
For kids.
Yes,
not
for kids.
True entertainment. That's the
Yes.
thing it's not really, it's for those stupid people.
Watchmen is for kids. Sucker Punch is for kids. Yes.
HBO is ending its adult entertainment. No more skin flicks after dark.
Oh.
Sorry, people. We always used to stay up late to try, at least I did, to try
So
and
what did
them.
Ethan Hawke have to say on that?
It's like, it's an end to high art. It's the end of high art now at HBO because they're losing their skin flicks, their softcore porno.
Oh man.
Well, we got a little hint about the Connors in the upcoming episodes. Roseanne is going to be killed off, and that's how they're going to start it off. So we now know what happened to Roseanne. So it's just going to be Roseanne without Roseanne. But that's what we figured it was going to be.
Yeah.
That's somebody else
That's the age-old, tried and true formula. Someone on your show pisses you off, you kill them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's another one about legitimate apologies, and I do think there's something going on with her that needs a little bit more, because she didn't used to be this quite unstable.
No.
So, I don't know. I doubt it's the Ambien. She says it's the Ambien. I think it's something deeper than the Ambien.
Ambien didn't think it was the Ambien.
Well, the Hollywood petition for women to get equal pay in Hollywood has finally gotten all of the signatures it needs to be reviewed. Now, to me, I think this is long time coming. I mean, a woman still in Hollywood does not get equal pay for equal work. And this is wrong. I believe that a woman should get equal pay as a man doing the same thing. I don't even know why they do that. It's just old chauvinistic crap that Hollywood throws around. When you talk about Me Too stuff, this is Me Too stuff that I really am for. Women should be paid equal. Women should not be harassed in the workplace. Women should not be raped by their producers. Weinstein. And that's the case. And women should not be seen as victims.
Yeah.
Women should be seen as equal beings to men. They should have the equal opportunities. They should be able to do these things. And again, I don't want this to turn into this thing of, well, we need to make sure that women are chaperoned at all times. No, you can't go alone because somebody could harass you or hurt you. And eventually this could be where it leads if things go too far. We want to make sure that we make things a good place, and I do hope that things become a great environment in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm. We can hope.
We can hope. Business is changing. Weinstein's going to court. Don't know when, but he is. Hopefully he gets what's coming to him.
Yep.
And with that,
on that note,
this is a shorter one this week. Still hope you enjoyed it. And we will see you on the next one. We got a lot of videos this week, so I'm sure that y'all will get plenty to see this week.
lots to do.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Darn it, I forgot. All right. Not goodbye. But soon. I forgot the Silent Hill. Silent Hill Part 2. So, of course, last time when we left, Harry was at Nowhere, which is an evil compilation of nightmarish voids where he has been before, between the schools, the hospital, and other places that he had been around.
Isn't that the place it was in a Titan skull with a really weird dude called the Collector that hangs out there?
But again, at the end, it was at the end, you solve a lot of puzzles. You go through and you finally make it to the end, where you see Dahlia Gillespie and Alyssa's ghost, and of course Alyssa's real body, which has been kept alive just because of her grudge against it all. When Harry had brought his little girl back, and spoilers, and united the two halves of the soul, because Alyssa's body had split into two when there was the fire. One half was the little girl that Harry had adopted, and the other half was the burnt up body that was kind of a husk of a body around there, trapped in an eternal nightmare. When the little girl came closer, the two united, and the nightmare became reality. Hence, Silent Hill. So, of course, the job that Dahlia is hoping for was to reunite the halves and then have her give birth to a new savior that would lead them to salvation. Of course, our doctor friend shows up with the red liquid that you liberated, if you followed those extra steps, and tosses it at the emerging angel, which turns the angel into a demon, which fries Dahlia on the spot. After you do battle with the demon, finally it crashes to earth and becomes the angel once more. But the angel has a child that she gives to Harry. The savior, maybe for a separate game. Silent Hill 3. He runs to escape, but it looks like it's going to be doomed. But last minute, his daughter saves them by stopping the rubble as he and the officer escape. The apparent ending, that is the canon ending, is for you to kill the officer off instead of save her, but do the rest of it, so you end up escaping alone with the child. But I don't like to do that. I prefer to save the officer. And then you get a nice little set of outtakes that they did, which is kind of funny at the very end. Mm-hmm. And then you can replay it on plus mode with a chainsaw and other things. Yeah, just in general, extra fun for hacking and
solving
slashing.
Your problems.
Exactly. Now, as a game itself, Silent Hill does and doesn't hold up. It has graphics that are really hard to look at in this day and age. But there were parts that genuinely had me a little bit nervous as the game went on. And that's the tone, the music. It is well crafted for what it is. And I really do hope that they do a remaster and that Konami gets off its butt, stops making pachinko machines, and does a full recast of the game. And I don't mean that shattered memories bullcrap. So let's start with Silent Hill 2. Silent Hill 2 stars a man who got a letter from his dead wife saying that she was waiting for him in Silent Hill. He decides to travel there, but it's blocked. He goes down the road through the park where the old church is. He hears sounds of creatures following him, but finds nothing. As he goes through the town, he finds this woman who is looking for her mother. She's a bit confused and a bit odd. As he travels, he sees this man that looks like he's in a straitjacket. But it actually is not a man at all. It's an evil creature. So he grabs a board and dispatches it by beating it to death. And that's how you do things in Silent Hill 2. You beat things to death.
Ooh.
So as he wanders, he finds out that he needs to go to the park, but all the ways are blocked and he has to go through the apartment complex. In the complex, he sees a little girl who kicks a key away from him and is rude as all get out. So during that time, he has to take alternative routes where he runs into the famed Pyramid Head, who he meets raping a mannequin. After an intense scene, he runs into two other characters. A man named Eddie, who he sees vomiting, and of course the strange woman again, who has a knife. It looks like she's ready to cut herself. But we don't know what's going to happen after that. Alright, now this is the end. So of course please comment, subscribe, like, and let us know what you want in the next videos to come. I'm hoping to do a little bit more with Movies Galore, by the way. I've got on a streaming service called Streamlet, and I'm going to be doing a couple reviews for that site. So, of course, if you are also a member of Inside Movies Galore, check that out. And if you are not, why aren't you? So we will see you now on the next one.
Goodbye.